When you wake up in the morning, before you even touch your phone, before you let the noise of the world rush in, there's a question you should ask yourself: where is God in this? Because the truth is, everything we do, every choice, every goal, every step forward, comes down to what we put first. And if God isn't first, then something else is, and whatever that something is, it won't last. Putting God first isn't about being perfect. It isn't about memorizing every scripture or pretending you have it all figured out. It's about order. It's about alignment. When God is at the top, everything else finds its place. Your relationships look different. Your work looks different. Even the way you handle setbacks and disappointments, different, because you're no longer carrying it alone. Think about the times you've tried to do it your way. You push, you strive, you hustle, you burn yourself out, and then wonder why the joy isn't there, why the peace isn't there, why the results don't feel like enough. It's because without God at the center, we build on shaky ground. And no matter how impressive it looks, eventually shaky ground gives way. But when God is first, even the small things have meaning. The conversation you didn't want to have, but you chose grace. The moment you felt like giving up, but you chose faith. The decision that didn't make sense to everyone else, but you chose obedience. Those moments matter because they're rooted in something eternal. It also changes how you see success. The world will tell you success is about status, wealth, titles, applause. But when God is first, success is about purpose. It's about walking in the assignment you were created for. It's about knowing that even if no one notices, He does. And when He blesses it, no one can take it away. So putting God first isn't a one-time decision. It's an everyday choice. It's in how you treat people. It's in how you handle money. It's in how you forgive, even when it's hard. It's in how you keep moving forward when life doesn't go your way. Because every time you put Him first, you're declaring, I trust you more than I trust myself. I trust your plan more than my own. And that trust, that faith, that surrender, that's where the real power is. That's where you stop surviving and start living. That's where peace takes the place of worry. That's where strength shows up in weakness. That's where joy makes no sense, yet it's still there. When you say, put God first, it sounds simple. It almost sounds like a slogan. But when you really try to live it, you realize it's not about just saying the words. It's about building your entire life on that foundation. Think about a house. You can decorate it beautifully, fill it with expensive furniture, make it look picture perfect on the outside. But if the foundation is weak, one storm, one flood, one shake, and it crumbles. Our lives are the same way. If we put ourselves, our money, our careers, or even other people first, that's like building on sand. It feels fine until the storm comes. But when God is first, the foundation holds. The storms still come, but you remain standing. That doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes steady. It means when anxiety creeps in, you don't have to give it permission to run your life. It means when disappointment hits, it doesn't get to define your identity. It means when people let you down, you can forgive them without losing yourself, because you know your worth doesn't come from their opinion, it comes from God. And putting Him first is not something you do once at the beginning of the week, like checking a box. It's daily. It's in the choices nobody sees. It's in the private battles, the moments when you're tempted to cut corners, when you're tempted to lash out, when you're tempted to give up. That's where putting Him first matters most. Because anyone can put God first when everything is going well. But can you put Him first when the deal falls through? Can you put Him first when your prayers aren't answered the way you hoped? Can you put Him first when life doesn't make sense? That's the test. See, God doesn't ask to be part of your life. He asks to be Lord of it. That means before the relationship, He comes first. Before the career, He comes first. Before the dream, He comes first. It doesn't mean those things aren't important. It just means they don't hold the throne. When something else holds the throne, it becomes an idol. And idols will always fail you. They promise fulfillment, but deliver emptiness. They promise peace, but deliver pressure. They promise love, but deliver heartbreak. Only God can deliver what He promises. And the beauty of putting God first is that it changes how you pursue everything else. It doesn't kill your ambition, it purifies it. It doesn't take away your goals, it gives them clarity. It doesn't remove your dreams. It aligns them with His purpose. And when your purpose lines up with His plan, there's no force in hell that can stop it. That's why some doors won't open for you until God is first. Because if they open too soon, you might worship the door instead of the one who opened it. Some of you are tired right now because you've been putting everything else first. You've been putting people's approval first. You've been putting success first. You've been putting control first. And it's exhausting because you weren't built to carry that weight. You weren't built to be your own savior. That's why putting God first feels like freedom, because it is. It's handing back the weight you were never meant to carry. It's saying, God, I can't do this without you. Lead me, guide me, strengthen me, and He will. But here's the challenge. It's easy to say, I trust God, but trust is proven in obedience. Do you put Him first in your time? Do you put Him first in your priorities? Do you put Him first in your finances, your relationships, your integrity? It's not about rules, it's about trust. Every time you choose His way over your own, you're declaring, God, I believe you know better. I believe your plan is greater. I believe your timing is perfect. And that declaration has power. Putting God first also shifts how you deal with fear. Fear tells you to hold back. Fear tells you to play it safe. Fear tells you to settle. But when God is first, fear doesn't get the final word. Faith does. And faith doesn't mean you won't feel afraid. It means you move anyway because you know who's leading you. That's why some of the greatest breakthroughs happen not when you feel confident, but when you choose faith in the middle of fear. And putting God first will change how you see people. When He's first, you stop needing people to complete you because you know you're already complete in Him. You stop needing constant validation because you know your identity is secure. That means you can love people without using them. You can serve people without resenting them. You can forgive people without keeping score. Because when your source is God, you're not running on empty, you're running on overflow. But let's be honest, sometimes putting God first feels costly. Sometimes it means saying no when everyone else says yes. Sometimes it means letting go of something you wanted so badly. Sometimes it means walking away from opportunities that look good but aren't God. And in the moment, that feels like loss. But later, you'll look back and realize it was protection. You'll realize God was writing a story bigger than what you could see. That relationship you cried over, He was making room for something healthier. That job you didn't get, He was preparing something greater. That delay you hated, He was building strength in you that success never could. That's why putting God first requires patience. His timing is not our timing. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want everything now, and we think delay means denial. But with God, delay often means preparation. And when you put Him first, you can wait differently. You can wait with peace instead of panic. You can wait with hope instead of despair. You can wait with faith instead of fear. And if you've ever felt like you've failed at this, like you've put other things before God, you're not alone. We all have. We all drift. We all get distracted. But here's the good news, it's never too late to reorder your life. God's grace isn't about how perfectly you've put Him first in the past. It's about choosing today. It's about saying, from this moment on, I'm putting you first. And when you make that choice, He doesn't shame you, He welcomes you. Think about it, when you put Him first, He doesn't just give you what you want. He gives you what you need. He gives you peace that doesn't make sense. He gives you strength when you should be weak. He gives you joy in the middle of sorrow. He gives you clarity in the middle of confusion. That's what happens when He's at the center. And here's the real secret. When you put God first, you don't lose anything. You gain everything. You gain perspective, you gain purpose, you gain power, you gain peace. And you realize all along, the thing you were searching for in success, in approval, in achievements, it was Him. It was always Him. So every day, every choice, every step, put Him first. Not just when it's convenient, not just when you're desperate, not just when you need something. Put Him first when you're strong. Put Him first when you're weak. Put Him first when it makes sense. Put Him first when it doesn't. Because when you do, you'll discover that He's not just a part of your life. He is your life, and that changes everything. When you look back over your life, think about the times you didn't know how you were going to make it. You didn't know how the bills were going to be paid, how the healing was going to come, how the situation was going to turn around. Yet somehow you're still here. Somehow the doors opened. Somehow strength showed up. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was God. And when you put Him first, you start recognizing those moments for what they really are, evidence of His hand, proof of His presence, reminders that He was always with you, even when you didn't see it. Putting God first doesn't mean you'll never face problems. It means the problems won't control you. It means when the storm hits, you can stand in the middle of it and say, this is not the end of my story. This is not where I give up. This is not bigger than my God. That's the power of putting Him first. It anchors you when everything else is shifting. Some people think putting God first means living a smaller life, like you're giving up freedom, but it's the opposite. It's not restriction, it's release. It's not a cage, it's a key. Because when you're chasing things that don't satisfy, you're the one stuck in chains. You're the one running in circles, never arriving. When God is first, the chains break. You finally start living free, not free to do whatever you want, but free to become who you were made to be. And let's talk about priorities. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day, but not everyone uses them the same way. Where your time goes shows what's first in your life. You can say God is first, but if He never gets your time, never gets your attention, never gets your trust, then He's not really first. He's just somewhere on the list. Putting Him first doesn't mean you spend every waking moment in prayer or church. It means even in your work, in your rest, in your relationships, He has the final say. It means He's not an afterthought. He's the starting point. I want you to think about a compass. No matter how you turn it, no matter where you go, the needle always points north. It doesn't matter if you're lost in the forest or standing in the middle of a city. That needle doesn't change direction. That's what happens when God is first. He becomes your true north. You might get turned around. You might lose your way for a while, but you'll always know how to come back. And that's why people who put Him first walk with a different kind of confidence. They're not cocky. They're not arrogant, but they carry peace. Because they know even if they take a wrong turn, the compass is still pointing them back home. And don't miss this. When you put God first, You set the tone not just for your life, but for those who watch you. People are looking at how you live more than they're listening to what you say. They're watching how you handle stress, how you treat people, how you bounce back from disappointment. When they see you put God first, not perfectly, but consistently, they notice. Your children notice. Your friends notice. Your coworkers notice. You may never preach a sermon, but your life can preach louder than words. There will be seasons when putting God first feels lonely. People won't understand your choices. They'll ask why you don't cut corners like everyone else. They'll wonder why you walk away from certain opportunities. They'll think you're strange for forgiving people who don't deserve it. But remember, this obedience to God has never been popular, but it has always been powerful. The crowd may not clap for you, but heaven will. And I know some of you have been holding on to things, trying to control them because you're afraid of what will happen if you let go. You're afraid if you surrender that relationship, you'll be alone. You're afraid if you surrender that plan, you'll miss out. You're afraid if you surrender that dream, it won't come back. But the truth is, the safest place for anything you love is in God's hands. When you put Him first, you're not losing control. You're placing it in the only hand strong enough to carry it. There's a story I once heard about a child holding a broken toy. The father reached out and said, "Give it to me, I can fix it." But the child clung tighter, afraid of losing it altogether. The toy stayed broken, not because the father couldn't fix it, but because the child wouldn't let go. How many of us are holding on to broken things, trying to fix them ourselves, when God is saying, "Put me first, give it to me. I can restore it." And we stay stuck, not because He can't heal it, but because we won't trust Him with it. Putting God first is also about how you respond to success. It's easy to pray in the valley, but will you still pray on the mountaintop? It's easy to depend on God when you're in need, but will you still depend on Him when you have more than enough? Some people forget Him in the good times. They think, "I've got this now." But the truth is, the higher you go, the more you need Him. Because success without God is just as empty as struggle without Him. Don't let blessings make you forget the one who blessed you. And let's be real, sometimes life will test you. Sometimes you'll feel like you've been waiting forever. Sometimes you'll see others moving ahead while you feel stuck. Sometimes you'll wonder if God has forgotten you. But putting Him first means you keep walking even when you don't see the finish line. You keep trusting even when you don't have the answers. You keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. That's faith. Faith isn't about having all the details. It's about trusting the one who does. And when you live like that, your life becomes a testimony, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. People will see the peace in your storm, the joy in your trials, the strength in your weakness, and they'll wonder how. And your answer will be simple: I put God first. And here's something you've got to hold on to. Putting God first doesn't mean you'll understand everything He's doing. In fact, most of the time you won't. You'll look at the closed door and think it's rejection, when in reality it's redirection. You'll look at the delay and think it's punishment, when in reality it's preparation. You'll look at the loss and think it's the end, when in reality God is clearing space for something new. That's why trust is so essential, because when you can't see His hand, you've got to trust His heart. And trust is not passive, trust is active. Trust shows up in your choices. Trust says, even when it doesn't make sense, I'm still going to forgive. Trust says, even when I feel afraid, I'm still going to step out. Trust says, even when I don't understand, I'm still going to obey. That's what putting God first looks like in the day today. Think about this. How many of us start our day by checking notifications, scrolling, running through our to-do list, stressing over what's next? What if instead we started with, "God, today is yours. My plans, my thoughts, my actions, guide them. Direct me where you want me to go." That simple shift doesn't just change your morning. It changes your posture for the entire day. Because instead of reacting to life, you're inviting God to lead it. Putting Him first doesn't make life perfect, but it makes it purposeful. And purpose is what gives meaning to the ordinary. Washing dishes for your family becomes an act of love. Showing up to a job you don't love becomes an act of service. Speaking kindness to someone who doesn't deserve it becomes an act of grace. When God is first, even the smallest actions carry eternal weight. And don't think for a moment that putting Him first means you won't face resistance. In fact, sometimes it means you'll face more. Because when you align your life with God, you threaten the enemy. And the enemy's strategy is simply distraction. If he can't destroy you, he'll distract you. He'll fill your mind with business, your heart with comparison, your schedule with noise until God slowly slips from first to second, then third, then somewhere in the background. That's why you have to be intentional. Because if you don't decide to put God first, everything else will decide for you. Sometimes we convince ourselves we'll put God first later. Later, when life slows down. Later, when we've achieved our goals. Later, when we're less busy. But later is a lie. Later never comes. The only time you have is now. And if you won't put Him first now, what makes you think you will later? Life doesn't get less demanding. But when God is first, you discover the strength to handle the demands differently. And here's a truth most people overlook, guy. When you put God first, He doesn't just change your spiritual life. He changes everything. He changes how you think, how you work, how you lead, how you love. He changes the way you see opportunities, the way you handle setbacks, the way you stored your gifts. Because when the Creator is first, creation falls into order. So maybe the real question isn't, should I put God first? But what am I putting before Him right now? Is it fear? Is it pride? Is it success? Is it control? Because whatever you put before Him becomes your God, whether you call it that or not. And the scary thing is, those gods will demand everything from you and give nothing back. But the true God, He gave everything for you and asked you only to trust Him. And I want you to picture what your life could look like if every decision started there. Imagine making choices not out of fear of failure, but out of faith in God's plan. Imagine walking into work not stressed about recognition, but secure in your worth. Imagine facing challenges not with panic, but with peace that says, I know who's in control. That's the life that comes from putting Him first. It doesn't mean you won't feel fear, but it means fear won't own you. It doesn't mean you won't face battles, but it means you won't fight them alone. There will be moments when you stumble. You'll lose sight. You'll forget. You'll put something else first. And that's when the enemy will whisper, see, you failed. God doesn't want you back. But hear me, God is not keeping a scoreboard of your failures. He's waiting for your surrender. His arms are open always. Putting Him first isn't about perfection. It's about direction. As long as you keep turning back, you're moving in the right one. And here's the thing, when God is first, even the things you thought you lost can be restored. Relationships can be healed. Purpose can be reignited. Hope can be renewed. Dreams can be reborn. That's the kind of God you serve. A God who doesn't just start things, but finishes them. A God who doesn't just promise, but provides. A God who doesn't just love you on your best days, but carries you on your worst. So yes, putting God first takes faith. It takes surrender. It takes trust. But the alternative is living life on your own strength, your own wisdom, your own limited understanding. And deep down, you already know that's not enough. That's why you're tired. That's why you're restless. That's why you're searching, because you were never meant to do it without Him. So every single day, you get a choice to put yourself first or to put God first, a choice to chase temporary or to build eternal, a choice to lean on your own understanding or to trust the one who sees it all. And those choices, day after day, shape the life you live. Sometimes putting God first looks like saying no to good things so you can say yes to the right things. Because not every open door is your door. Not every opportunity is your assignment. Not every voice is meant to guide you. When God is first, you don't just chase what looks good, you pursue what's truly God. And that kind of discernment only comes from being aligned with Him, and alignment matters. If a car is out of alignment, it'll still move, but it'll drift. You'll constantly have to fight to keep it straight. That's how life feels when God isn't first. You can keep moving, but you're always drifting, pulled by fear, pulled by culture, pulled by pressure. But when God is first, the alignment is restored. The journey may not be perfect, but the direction is steady. Putting Him first also changes how you handle waiting. Because let's be honest, waiting is one of the hardest things. We want answers now. We want solutions now. We want results now. But God often does His greatest work in the waiting. That's where patience grows. That's where faith deepens. That's where character is built. And when He's first, you don't waste the wait. You use it. You grow in it. You trust through it. And maybe right now you're in that in-between space. The prayers haven't been answered. The breakthrough hasn't come. The vision hasn't happened. And everything in you wants to rush ahead to force it, to make it happen. But putting God first means you choose surrender over striving. You choose to believe His timing is not just different, but better. Because when the door finally opens, you'll realize it opened at the perfect moment. When you were ready, when the pieces were aligned, when His plan was unfolding in ways you couldn't see. It also changes how you define strength. We live in a world that tells you strength means never showing weakness, never asking for help, never admitting struggle. But when God is first, strength looks different. It looks like saying, I can't do this on my own. It looks like dropping the mask and being honest with Him. It looks like leaning into His power instead of pretending you've got it all together. That's real strength. Strength isn't pretending you're invincible. It's knowing where your help comes from. And when He's first, even the way you dream changes. You stop dreaming small, self-centered dreams and start dreaming kingdom-sized dreams. You stop asking, what can I build for myself? And start asking, what can God build through me? That shift is powerful because it takes the pressure off of you and places it back where it belongs. Suddenly, it's not about how gifted you are, how connected you are, how strong you are. It's about how surrendered you are. And when your life is surrendered, God can do more through you than you ever imagined. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who seem to carry peace, who radiate joy, who walk with purpose. Chances are, they're not the ones who had the easiest path. They're the ones who put God first through the hardest seasons. They're the ones who lost things but didn't lose faith. They're the ones who walked through fire but came out without being burned, because putting God first doesn't keep you out of the fire, but it keeps you from being consumed by it. And don't miss this. Putting him first is not about rules. It's about relationship. God isn't asking you to put him first so he can control you. He's asking because he loves you, because he knows every other foundation will fail you, because he knows what you can't see yet, because he knows his plan is greater, his purpose is deeper, his love is stronger. So when you feel the tug to put him first, don't ignore it. That's not guilt. That's grace. That's not pressure. That's invitation. He's inviting you into a life that isn't weighed down by fear, isn't driven by pride, isn't chained to the opinions of others. He's inviting you into freedom. You may not see the results immediately. You may not see the blessing right away. You may even wonder if it's worth it. But nothing you give to him is wasted. Every prayer, every act of obedience, every choice to trust instead of fear, it all matters. It's all seen. It's all building something in you and around you that will last forever. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to this. Life will always give you options for what to put first. Success will try to take the throne. Fear will try to take the throne. People's opinions will try to take the throne. But only one choice leads to peace. Only one choice leads to purpose. Only one choice will never fail you. And that's putting God first. Because when he's first, everything else finds its place. When he's first, you walk with strength you didn't know you had, with joy that doesn't make sense, with hope that nothing can steal. So whatever you do, wherever you go, whatever season you find yourself in, choose him first and watch how everything else changes.